So anyway, so what happened was when I sold the 37 books, I wasn't making a hell of a lot of money. I did get a check in the mail though for $700 from an affiliate company, and I thought, whoa, this is where the money's at, come on. So basically I got into more of that side of things, got hold of an affiliate company called Casino Partners at the time, I think they're called Euro Partners now, and they were the first guys to really come on board with me, and they sent me a whole box all the way to New Zealand, Federal Express, must cost me a fortune, a whole box of CD-ROM mailers. So of course I added that to my package as a bonus. You get your own casino on a CD. So when these books went out, they then went out with CD-ROMs in them as well. And then of course when people trust me, and this is where I get to the whole system of this thing, when people trust me, they would then straight away, whoa, I use my credit card online, the book arrives in the mail, here's the CD-ROM, I've got to try this out. You know, this guy's trustworthy, I'm going to try this out. And of course it was great because they would very quickly convert.
What are the laws like in Australia regarding mailing out a CD-ROM for?
Obviously, because I'm mailing from New Zealand,
yeah.
So it's probably a little bit different. You know, I think if I was
probably a little bit different. Didn't check into that though.
Yeah. If I was living in Australia,
it's probably different. I like that answer.
We'll talk about that later.
It's probably okay.
Yeah. That's a grey area.
So far, so good. Okay.
So anyway, yeah, so that's how I got into the online gaming market, and that's where I've basically developed this system. And this is what I'm talking about here. I mean, if you guys can replicate this in any way, it will help you make a lot of money. Through the book I was able to qualify my prospects. I could see that they were interested in gambling and interested in pokies, most importantly of all. They were comfortable using the internet and email, and they had a credit card and they weren't afraid to use it online. And this is big because in Australia and New Zealand they're still fairly shy about using their credit cards online. They're getting better, which is weird because Australia and New Zealand are a very fast early adopter market. New Zealand particularly is probably one of the fastest in the world. New Zealand banking is light years ahead of everywhere else. You know, like we have 7 days a week banking, 12 hours a day. Our online banking, we're one of the first countries in the world to get that. FPOS, we were the test market for it in the late 70s, which is what you guys call debit cards, I think. Everywhere in New Zealand, it's almost a cashless society. Like everyone uses debit and you know, the FPOS cards everywhere. Like they don't use cash much at all. I know when I go to Australia, it's a real pain because when I go to the bar and I want to pay for it with my FPOS card, they're like, oh sorry, but there's an ATM in the corner. And of course it's a private ATM with an extra $3.50 whatever you have to pay just to get your money out. We don't have that in New Zealand. We're a lot quicker, you know, a lot faster, early adopters. So that's good. So yeah, able to qualify my prospects through all this, obviously perfectly because I want people to have credit cards, I want them to be able to be comfortable using the internet and to be able to use email and that sort of thing because that's how I'm going to communicate with them going forward. I was able to build their trust, and that was basically just by delivering on what I promised as fast as possible. So whenever a book order came in, I always got it out within the next hour. And the beauty thing is too, New Zealand has probably one of the best postal systems in the world, and I'm able to get a book to Australia in 4 days for $2.50. Now I charge them $10, so that's good. Basically, once that happens, I've built their trust. The book arrives, they get all this other stuff, they throw the thing in, they throw the disc in the computer, and they start playing. Now, even if they don't start playing just then, they already know me as the pokey guy. I'm the guy who sent them that book, and I sent it to them really fast, and I sent them a nice little letter in there as well. So they already kind of trust me, and they already think I'm like one of their friends. And so all I need to do from then on is basically just maintain this relationship. And I just send out regular emails, you know, newsletters and that. And I keep things really game specific when I send it out, because that's what it's all about. With Aussies and Kiwis, they're not interested in the casinos themselves. They're really not interested in who owns it and you know how many other sister sites you've got and that sort of thing. They're only interested in the games. So what I always do, and the easiest thing to do, is basically pick a game that you think that is going to be good for your audience, and then just send an email like, hey, if you like playing this game, I think you should try this, blah blah blah. And then of course you put whatever bonus offers available underneath it, and that usually converts for me really well. So yeah, so that's basically sort of the system that evolved out of the book that has worked really well for me. I'll give you a few tips on what doesn't work in this market, and then I'll finish off with what does work in the market, which is probably the goal that you need. What doesn't work in this market? Okay, what we can see up there, sorry if it's one of your casinos, is a really boring game in New Zealand and Australia. You know the games now with like the 25 lines, 50 lines and that sort of thing? They've got extra screens, extra features, double ups and that sort of thing. Well, Aussies invented that. That came out of Aristocrat. Now they were the big poker machine manufacturer in Australia. Now they invented it, IGT stole it off them, and it's now gone around the world. So when Aussies see a game like this bores the shit out of them. They're not interested at all. They, cherries, bells, and bars, and that. It's so boring. And one pay line, like it's really like watching paint dry for them. They want real sophisticated games. So they, the minimum 20 lines. They want to have all these different, features and extra things going on. And they want extra bonuses, and they want to be able to flip heads or tails at the end or roll the dice or whatever. So don't bother with this. You need anything with limited features and that sort of thing is not going to work. Other things that don't work as well, themes with no relevance to the market. I've got an example up here of Jeopardy, the TV game show. We don't even have this program in New Zealand, we never have. I'm not sure if Australia do. I know when I was living there I never saw it there. So really that game has no relevance to the market whatsoever. So obviously don't even try promoting it, you're just wasting your time. Also keep an eye on the themes like the USA themes. Again, I come back to that Americanisation. Aussies and Kiwis don't really like it that much, so the 4th of July, Stars and Stripes, Star Spangled Banner, stuff like that, doesn't really have any relevance to Australia and New Zealand, so those kind of games are not even worth promoting. They're not going to go over very well. And yeah, as I've put up there, TV game shows that don't even screen in these markets. Now, I know game shows are popular themes for poker machines. One that does work really well for me, I forget which platform it's on, is the Deal or No Deal. I think it's called The Real Deal, so the similarity to that. That worked really well for me, and that's actually an autoresponder that every single customer gets. In the first few days of signing up, they basically go and they check out that game. And that's worked really well, because Deal or No Deal was first done in South Africa, and then it went to Australia, and they've got a really awesome host in Australia who's like a celebrity there, and he's really good at what he does, and everyone in Australia loves Deal or No Deal. So, yeah, Deal or No Deal is a good one if you can hit that one. What really works in this market is familiarity. And I've got a picture up there of a game called Queen of the Nile. Is there any Australians in here? Oh, okay. So you'll be familiar with Queen of the Nile.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Queen of the Nile is basically, you can go to any casino or pub in Australia and there will be this or a version of this in there. Basically, this game is the most popular game Aristocrat have ever made. So all they keep doing every year is they keep remixing it. They keep throwing out Queen of the Nile Limited Edition, Queen of the Nile, second, whatever. But this game here, it's all about Cleopatra and pyramids and gold and that sort of thing. And this is really what most Aussies would grow up on. Like the first sort of pokey they would play would be a Queen of the Nile game, because Mum and Dad would have probably played Queen of the Nile and that sort of thing. We are now getting to that sort of second generation now, where the mums and dads who have been on the pokies, like these new video pokies, we're now getting the second generation of gamers coming through that will be taking cues from their parents who've been gambling as well. So Queen of the Nile, and this is a really simple tip, and this works to me, this works over and over and over again, and this is basically all you need to do. Find a game that's working in Australia, and you can do this too by looking at the online casinos, not online casinos, but the casino sites for casinos in Australia, and have a look at what games are working for them, like what land-based games are really popular for them. And then all you do is you find an online version of it. In this case, I've managed to find 3 there. I've got Cleopatra's Coins, Pharaoh's Tomb, and Treasure Nile. Now these all have a similar theme. And this is very simple, and I've done this before. It's usually like a 2-paragraph email. Hi there, name. Do you like playing Queen of the Nile? Now, every pokie player loves playing Queen of the Nile. Well, the fact that you have mentioned a game that they know about, they're straight away interested. If you like playing Queen of the Nile, then you really should check out this game, blah, 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 blah. And you don't have to put any graphics or anything. I never send out graphical emails, I never send out text, and I keep them real short. And basically, it's just, if you like this game, you should try this one. This will be right up your alley. And then, of course, the 3rd paragraph is really, if you try it out today, I'll give you $20 free to try this casino or whatever. And that's, for me, that just works over and over and over again. And so that's really all you need to do to promote the Australian market. It really is that simple. So yeah, that's my story, and that's how I do things. No doubt there might be some questions or whatever.
Yeah, Matt.
What's the legislation on above-the-line advertising for online poker rooms and casinos?
Okay.
He's from New Zealand, and that's probably different.
It is different, yeah. To be honest, I don't know, because at the moment, obviously, it's going through there's a whole bunch of readings and changes and that thing being made to it at the moment. I know you can't advertise on TV, you can't advertise in the newspaper, you can't do all that sort of stuff. Obviously, advertising online is the grey area that everyone talks about. And I mean, obviously, if there was someone from the government here who wanted to, they could probably nail my ass. But realistically, it's small potatoes to them, But I would say you will see a lot more of it in the next couple of months because of that whole internet blacklist too, which the People's Republic of Australia are trying to put through now. So.